Hello everyone, it's Kathy Champion and you're back with me in my craft room here at Random Acts of Stamping, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the U.S. and I reside in Gastonia, North Carolina, and I just want to welcome you in. I'm going to take care of a few little things and then I'm going to show you this card that I just kind of threw together yesterday because I was playing with some stuff, but I liked it so well after I got it done. I thought it's one of those cards I really need to bring to everyone. This is our host code for December. Don't worry about writing it down here. It will be posted in the description box below the video. Just click on the show more, or you can click on the link that will take you over to my blog, and there you can get all of the items that you would need to make this card along with the video. So you won't have to go to different places. You can actually shop from my store, from my my blog page. So that all works out really great. It puts everything in one little neat package. So with that being said, let me show you. I was actually wanting to do this plaid builder, the best plaid builder dies, and this is a two-piece die set, and you have this piece here that cuts like your background, and then you have this grid piece that cuts your little lines that goes across. This is one of the most versatile die cuts, dies that I have ever used. I think it's because you can change your colors up so many different ways. Your background, which for this is the white, and then you have the overlay of the black, and then the white. But I thought I wanted to do it a little bit different and maybe do black. Actually, I want to do it just like this, but I want to use the black for the for this piece here and see how that looks. I used this piece of glitter paper was not, it's contraband, it was not Stampin' Up! Stampin' Up! Does have a shimmer, a white shimmer, but it doesn't have quite this, this glow to it. So if you have some white glitter paper or glimmer paper, you could use that. But what I did is I used the Still Scene dies, and this is what comes in those. You get the snow globe. You get this little bottom decorative piece, which I cut out of a red foil, and then you get this piece that cuts out the background to this, and I use that glimmer paper for that as well. You also get this cute little reindeer, a grove of trees, two different churches, the mama and the mama and the baby bear, and this tree right here will actually stamp out. I'm sorry, not trees. This stamp right here, die right here, will cut this little scene here. And this is just the cutest stamp set ever. It really gives you so many different items that you can use out of there. And so as I was playing, I just kind of grabbed this and then I put another sentiment inside here. I love the way this turned out, and I thought, okay, I need to bring that to y'all. So without any further ado, I am going to move everything out, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm using a piece of our basic black cardstock, and I'm going to cut this, and I measured this earlier, and I should have wrote down my measurements, but I didn't, but I think it was 4.5 by 6. I remembered the 6, I just couldn't remember the 4.5. So I'm going to take this to 4.5, and I'm going to move that score blade out of my way, and I'm going to cut that, and then I'm going to turn it this way and cut it at 6. Now we are going to be trimming some of this off, so this will not be the size of our card once we're done. But what I want to do is I want to put this die over top of this piece of paper. And you're going to see, I'm putting the cut side down, and you're going to see that this will give us the entire piece. And I found out that if I put a little sticky note like that, it really helps hold everything in place. Alright, I'm going to bring this over. And you can see it cut the edge of my paper off, which is good. And we're going to have quite the mess here, but that's okay. Let's pull this tab off. It cut that, but that's okay. No big deal. I'm going to throw these pieces in the trash. You're probably going to see me, I'm going to use my little box that I made. This is just my little paper pumpkin box, and I'm going to lay that in there. And I'm going to use the brush that you can buy separate to go on your take your pick tool. And I'm just going to run it across here like this. Again, it's a little noisy, but you know what? Look at this. It gets out just about all the pieces. So I'm going to use the little pokey end of my tool just to pop out any of these that were a little stubborn. And sometimes you can just hold it up over the box and get those last little pieces out. There we go. It does a fantastic job of cutting this die machine, and you probably saw me premiere the mini die cut machine. Now, like I said, this particular set will not go through the mini machine, so it does have limitations, but it is a great little machine for embellishments and things like that. So if you're not doing any major die cutting, it definitely would be a great asset to your craft room. Alright, I think I got everything out of this. I like to hold it up to the light, and that usually I can see when I hold it up to the light if I've got any little pieces left in there. It just gives me a better view of what I'm looking at. And I think that all looks good. So I am going to take this die, and I think I got everything out except that one piece right there. But this is a great way to wrangle, and I'm going to push this down to the edge of my table and just brush everything into that box. Just an easy way to clean up your craft area. So that, we'll empty that later, no big deal. Now I want to lay this over top of a card base. So I am going to grab a piece of Whisper White. And this is just a piece of our basic Whisper White thick. And I do have a little piece of that pink sticky note on there. We don't need that on our piece. And I'm going to lay this back over on its magnet so I don't lose it. I want to cut this in half to get an A2 size card. So I'm going to put it in the trimmer with my 11" at the top. And I'm going to bring this side over to 5½. Move my score blade out of the way, and I'm going to cut that up. And then I'm going to turn it. I'm going to move my cut blade down. I'm going to turn it because I want to score it at 4 1/4. This gives us our typical A2 size card. And I love, love, love being able to score on this trimmer. It keeps you from having to run out and reach over and grab another tool. You have everything right here. And for me, that just makes it all the better. Alright, I'm going to grab my bone folder. And I'm holding this down, and I'm just going to press it into place. Just like that. Alright, I don't know about y'all, but this is my relaxing time. When I can come in and just sit down and create, I love it. Now, what you're going to find is the card fits fine from side to side. The top and the bottom edges will need to be trimmed off. And basically what we are trimming off is this little piece right here. So what you can do if you want to is take it to your trimmer beforehand, and this sometimes can be the easier way to do this. And what you want to do is line it up so that these pieces are right into the track. So it's only going to slice that one little area, just like that. How neat. And then we can just throw this away. And we're going to turn it around and do the bottom as well. And I'm cutting it on the wrong side. So I'm lining this up so that it's just in the track, and slice up. And you can hear it go doot-doot-doot-doot. It's such a cute little sound, but it's cutting those little pieces. And once you do that, then you're going to have a perfect piece to fit on your card. Just like that. I think that works out so great. The next thing we're going to need to do, we're going to need a piece of this white. So I am going to, that's right, I wanted to do it in black. I want to do that in black. So we're going to take this other piece of black, and let's see if our piece will fit. If it doesn't, we'll just grab another piece of cardstock, no biggie. And we're going to need another piece because we cut this a little bit more narrow. See, and that's not long enough. That was the piece that came off of it. No big deal. We're going to reach over and grab another piece of our basic black. And here we go. Now we know that this piece needs to be, and I measure, this is 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. So 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut it like this at 5 1/2. And 4 1/4. This is basically the same size as a A2 card would be. So that works out really well. So I'm going to put this on here. So I'm going to take this over to my die machine, but before I do, let me show you my mess I've got on here. I'm just going to take this cut plate off, and this is where I cut the other piece, and I'm just going to take it to my trash can and just scrape off all of those little pieces. Just use your fingers, and some of them will look like they're kind of embedded, but they will come off. Just rub your fingers across it. And there we go. Got a little bit of pink on there. That was from the sticky note. Alright. Now I'm going to lay this back over on my die cut machine, and I'm going to take this to it. Just like that. And lay it down. And we're going to cut this. I know it seems strange to use the black and black. You would think you would need to change up your color, and we may want to do that, but I really wanted to see what this was going to look like by doing it like this. So I'm going to move my trimmer again. And we are going to pick this up and pull this out. Oh, so pretty. And then let's lay this. The reason I was thinking that that would look good is because now we have this black going across this way. And when you put this down, you want to make sure that you're getting your pieces on evenly. So you want to be, this still looks a little ragged right there, and I don't like that look. Let's see if we can use a pair of shears and trim this just a hair more. And I'm just taking off a tiny little bit to give myself an even edge. And I'm going to do the same thing right here. I don't like anything that looks kind of ravelly at the top of my cards. So yeah, that looks much, much better. And see, we just took off just a tiny little bit. I mean, just barely a strand. But that will make the difference in the card. And I'm going to go ahead and dump these pieces. And let's look at this again. Alright, if we put this on here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to lay this over top of this. See, you've got much more black showing. Let me pull the other card that I was showing you and see the difference. So this particular die set can look different with whatever piece you use. Now, what if we wanted to do red? Let's cut a red one, and because we're just playing right now, but we are going to make a card too. But I thought, how neat would it be to come on and show you how I play with this machine and this particular die set, because I don't know about you, but I love that die. I love it. Now here's a piece of red, and I'm going to see this fits perfectly. So I'm going to cut this out in red and see what we get. And we're going to have that same piece again, and I got this piece I can use again. And see, we're just going to pull this piece off because this is the piece that we're wanting. And let's see how cute this is going to look with the red. Oh my heavens. Now this is going to be a little bit, and we're going to have to trim that off, but it's not a problem. I love that. Isn't that cute? That gives a whole nother aspect to this card. And I really do like that. I think I'm going to go with the red. So we're going to make a card today, and we're going to do it with the black, red, and white. Because who doesn't love black, red, and white? It is like one of my favorite combinations. So I am going to, the first thing I want to do is I want to put some glue on here, and I'm just going to use some liquid glue. I find that the liquid glue works better for this particular, and what you're going to want to, we're going to go with this. I'm going to move this out of my way because I definitely do not want to get glue on my plates. But what I'm going to do is you want to make sure that you got the wrong side up, and you can tell your smoother side is going to be your right side, and the more rigid area is going to be your wrong side. So just put some glue on each one of these. You don't want to put a lot because you don't want it to, ooze out. But you want to make sure that you're getting enough of glue, and you want to move kind of fast when you're doing this because you don't want that glue to get dry on you before you can get it down on your card. So you're going to have to get into warp speed when you're doing this. Just kind of move fast and you'll be fine. So I'm going to bring my card over, and I am going to even this up to the edges. Just like that, and then press that down. And usually what I like to do is I'll take one of my heavier, this is the really big stamp block that Stampin' Up! Has. If you don't have that, you can use your base plate from your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, or you can just lay a book over it. Anything will work. You just want something to put down over it to make sure that it adheres. So while that's working, I'm going to turn this piece over, and I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm just going to run glue along these little pieces. Now this is very tedious, but you know what? The effect that you're going to get from this is priceless. I adore this die set. I hope that Stampin' Up! Doesn't retire this one, because this one is so versatile. And I'm not talking about the retired list that's going out now. I'm talking about in June when the new catalog comes out, the new annual catalog. Because this is in the annual catalog, not the current mini catalog. Alright, we just about got it. A little bit more right here. And then we're going to pick this up. And yes, I did get glue on it because it's sticking to my surface. It's okay. Okay. Now we're going to move this block over. And this is where you want to be really careful. And I really want to line these up to where they cross right over top of the white open squares. Just like that. That just says Christmas. I don't know why, but that just looks like Christmas, y'all. Is that not gorgeous? So again, I'm going to lay this over just like that. I love that. I think it's so, so pretty. Alright, I'm going to lay this back over here because I think we're done. Now I'm going to hang on to this one because I will definitely use this. So now let's take this off. And I am going to trim these little excess pieces off. And I am going to use, since I had put glue on that, I'm going to use a pair of shears that are non-stick. So what I'm going to do is just go, why don't we do it from this side? Like that, and then alright, that was easy. So now that we've got these little pieces out of our way, we are ready to decorate the front of our card. And what is so cute, I am going to do the inside with a black, a red, and then a white matte. I think that'd be beautiful. Or maybe even we might even heat emboss. Who knows? Haven't decided yet. Did y'all know that about me? Very indecisive. And I am going to decide if I want to do some snowflakes. We could always do snowflakes, or we could go back and do another globe like this and maybe have a little white church in there. So many different options. Alright, let's look at these dies. This is called the Snowglobe Scenes, and it coordinates with Still Scenes stamp set. I love this one. I think it's so beautiful. Let's look at the bottom of our snow globe, these two pieces, the top of our snow globe, which is that piece. And I did cut a little church yesterday. Anytime I cut any die cut pieces, I've got a little drawer up here that I keep them in. So I've got that little church already cut out of that iridescent paper. What if we do this? What if we cut this out of white? So let me grab a little scrap of white that will work. This isn't exactly a scrap, but this, let's find a smaller piece. Looks like everything I've got up here is larger. Okay, we're going to cut this piece down. I'm going to lay my church over there because I'm not sure that we're going to work with the church yet. I'm thinking about the In the Pines stamp set. I wish the trees were on here, but they're not. So, I am going to die cut this, and I'm going to grab my little Post-it notes because I want to make sure I anchor this down like that. And I'm going to run that through my die machine. Get my sandwich pieces back in the right direction. And let's go ahead and cut this. Now, I know this video is probably going to run longer than you might want to set for a setting, but never fear. You can always start and stop my videos and come back to it later. It's no big deal. So if you have things to do and you can't stay for a long video, then by all means, you know, watch what you can. It's recorded, it's not going anywhere, and you can come back later. I am going to grab my In the Pines stamp set. Oops, wrong. I don't think I'm going to use the dies. I think I'm only going to use the trees. And I love that little grouping of trees right there. I think it's super cute. Let's see if that little grouping will fit on here. And these are two-step stamps. So you have this group to stamp your trees, and then you can come back and put a different color on them. So it gives them a little bit more dimension. And I love that. So let's put these like right about there. And grab a stamp block. I have this one out, so I'm going to use it. And I am going to pick this up just like that. And I'm going to use a soft suede, because this is going to give you the limbs on your trees. So I'm just going to stamp that. And I'm going up a little bit higher. And that looks so beautiful. Let me get my Stampin Scrub and put it over here to the side so that I can clean my stamps. This is our wonderful little stamping tool, or Stampin Cleaner, and I already have cleaner on it. I'm just going to activate it with a little squirt of water, and we are going to take these over and clean them up. You clean on one side and dry on the other. It is fantastic, and it cleans your stamps beautifully every time. I usually go back with just a soft cloth and wipe up the excess cleaner. So I'm going to do that. Now I want to put this down, and we're going to pick up some beautiful green with this one. So we already stamped our soft suede. So I want I think the shaded spruce is pretty. But we're not going to stamp, we're going to do like a second generation stamping with this. I'm going to ink it up. And then I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp on. And I got to get over top of these trees so that I can match them up. Just like that. Isn't that beautiful? And again, we are going to clean up my stamps, and there we go. Alright, let's put this ink away. And let's go ahead and get my stamps put back on the block where they need to be. I mean, on their designated spot. I'm a little OCD when it comes to keeping my stuff, you know, together. I've lost stamps and I've lost dies, and if any of you have had that to happen, you know firsthand how devastating that can be. I'm wondering if we want to do the tree, or do we want to cut another deer, maybe out of the brown. The soft suede, do I have soft suede? I've got cinnamon cider, and that's very close. I don't think I have the soft suede. I've got it on order, and I have an order coming in today, and I can't wait. It's new stuff from the new catalog. Always so exciting when you get new stuff from the new catalog. This will be a pretty color for our deer. So I am going to grab the deer off of this Snowglobe Scene, and I am going to cut him out. So we are going to go with the deer again. This one's going to look a little different because it's going to have a wooded scene. And I'm going to lay my die like this. And go ahead and get this cut. I love using my die cut machine. Absolutely love it. Now, if you want that to be a little darker, what I would do is I'm going to put down a non-porous surface, and I am going to add a little bit of definition to him, and I'm going to do that by using my tiny little brush. This is a very tiny, I'm going to bring out that soft suede, and I'm just going to ink up, and I'm going to come over here, put down a little bit of ink, and all I want to do is just ever so gently just give him a little bit of definition. Just by inking him a little bit, you'll be surprised. I'm doing the ground part of where he's standing a little bit. And this will just give you another depth of color. I love that. Now, let's go ahead and close this up. And we are going to use some dimensionals to pop him up, but I'm going to clean my little brush, and I'm going to wipe this down. Now, I do want to tell you, if you use, this is just a laminated sheet, but if you use an alcohol wipe, or maybe even just your cloth wet in a little bit of alcohol, I'm going to show you how well this cleans. This is just a little wipe, and look at that. Alcohol will lift this ink every time. That's why we can't use our alcohol markers with this particular ink. It will lift right up with the alcohol markers. It'll move our ink. We don't want that. Alright, let's see if we can put Mr. Deer right to the front part of this. And I think what I'm going to do in order to do this is I'm going to turn him over, and we're going to use some Stampin Dimensionals, and I'm going to use the mini ones because he is a tiny little dude. And you don't want your dimensionals to show. In some cases, you might want to cut them in half. I am going to need to cut some in half for the bottom. So I am going to grab my paper snips, and I'm going to go across here and just snap out some of these little pieces. So this little piece right here, and let's see if this will work. It's almost too big for down there. Alright, we can still get it. We'll cut this in half. Okay, everybody, we're back, and when we finished a while ago, we were at this point where I got the tree stamped, I've got my deer cut out, and I've already put some dimensionals on him, and I decided to cut off that bottom, that little round oval that was at the bottom. I think he's going to fit much better in here, but we need to die cut these two pieces. This is going to go behind this piece, so I'm going to take these over to my die cut machine, and we are going to cut these. And here we go. So here is our gold piece, and here's our red piece, and these are going to layer over each other like that. So it's going to give you that beautiful gold underneath this overlay. And I think that's just so pretty. So we are going to, the best way that I found to put glue on this is to do it with a sponge. And I know this is kind of old school way of doing it, maybe, but it works for me. So I am going to use that, I'm going to use this little piece right here, and I am going to put a little bit of glue right here, and I'm going to dab the sponge. I've got this sponge that I keep for just this sort of thing, and I'm just going to dab this all over the back of that, and then I want to bring it to this and try not to get the glue all over this gold piece, because glue doesn't like gold. But anyway, when you put that together, it will look something like that. Very pretty, very ornate. I like that. So I'm just going to stick that back in there, and I'm going to use my little wipe to just clean this off. I just keep that in a little, one of those little disposable Rubbermaid containers. I just confiscated one out of the kitchen. So now we are ready to actually put this onto here. And what you want to do is just barely get that to stick. Just the tiniest little bit. So again, I'm going to use liquid glue. And I'm just going to run a small bead, and a lot of times it's harder to glue on foil because it doesn't like to adhere. But I'm going to put this down right about there. I'm going to bring it to the front so I can look at it, and I've got glue across the front of that. That's okay. I'll just wipe that off. And that's what I wanted. Now I want to use the stamp set right here that has the little snowflakes. And I'm going to do that in a Seaside spray. And we're going to pick that up on a small block like this. And I am going to come in and just stamp here and there some little snowflakes all around. How cute. That's all we need to do with that. And one other thing. I think all the detail that you put in your cards is what makes them so special. So a lot of times taking the time to do a little bit of accent work, I guess you can call it, does make a difference. So I'm going to put that one back on, and this one looks like a little snowdrift. Just little lines, but that can make so much, and we're going to do those underneath the trees. Let's see, this one's not going to work, so we're going to need a longer stamp block. I think this one right here is going to work perfect. And I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to go right to the trees and just stamp right under them. Just like that. Just to give a little sense of the ground. I think that just a little detail that we do like that can make a great deal of difference. And it looks like the snow is kind of banked up under the trees, and I love that. I love that. So now let's get over here and get our little deer, and I want him to look like he is sitting right down on top of this, just like that. Oh, he's so cute. Alright, before I put my arm and my hand in this glue pad, I'm going to close it up. And I've got so much stuff going on over here, and whew, if you could see on each side of my desk. It is a mess. Now this one looks totally different than the first one we did, but I do want to do a little red nose, so I'm going to use my dark the dark cherry cobbler. And I'm just going to come in right at the end of his nose, like so. And I also want to do an eyeball. It's amazing, just a little detail like that can just add so much life to your piece. Isn't that beautiful? Now I'm going to turn this over because I definitely want to pop this up, but I need some of the larger dimensionals for it. So I'm going to grab one of these, and I'm going to start here at the bottom, and I'm just going to put 3 across the bottom, and I'm going to put 1 right here. And then I think we might put 1, 2, and maybe 3. I think that'll be sufficient. Alright, get my little take your pick tool, and let's go ahead and pop these off. I love using the take your pick tool to pull off my backers, because it wrangles them all together, and then you can just take them and throw them in the trash all at one time. This tool is called the Take Your Pick tool. It does not come with this brush. This is an added accessory that you can buy for it. But it is absolutely the bomb. Alright, I'm going to take this and I'm going to do it very much like I did the other one. I'm going to stick it down here. Just about like that. And then we want to do something with Merry Christmas across the top. So I am going to find a very pretty Merry Christmas. Okay, everybody, here's where I'm at. I tried this punch, which this one is the tailored tag. And as you can see, it cut off my S. I didn't like that, so that's going in the trash. I did this one and it just don't send me. So then I die cut this die from the Tasteful Labels, and I'm getting ready to stamp Merry Christmas on this and see if this is the one we like. So much trial and error, but hey, we're having fun. That die did it. I've got the nice evenness that I like on both sides. I do need to clean the stamp. I have got to take my Stampin Scrub to the sink and clean my pad because it is dirty. So after this video, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and clean my pad. You can't clean a stamp really good if you don't have a good clean pad to clean it on. So sorry about that. So now we've got this beautiful tag that I think is simple and yet elegant, and it's just exactly what I wanted it to be. So for this one, I think I'm just going to use some liquid glue. Or do I want to pop it up? I'm going to pop it up. When in doubt, use dimensionals. I have so enjoyed making these cards using the Plaid builder. So pretty, and so many different options. I mean, you could do this for birthday cards or do it for summer cards and use pastel colors. You know, it just all depends on the season, the occasion, and also the person that you are giving it to. Whoops. Those didn't wrangle too well, did they? Nope. Okay. So now I am going to take this and let's move some of this stuff out of our way. And we are going to put this right about here. And again, another way to finish off a beautiful card with the snow globe, Merry Christmas, and how pretty is that? I love it. I think it turned out Absolutely beautiful. We do need to do a sentiment for the inside, so I had said that I wanted to use a black and a red. So here we go. We're going to do black, red, and white. So let's go ahead and take this to our trimmer and cut it. And we're going to need this piece to be 4, and it is right at 4. So 5 1/4. And we're going to need this piece to be 3 3/4. I mean 3 3/4. Let's see what we got here. Yep, 3 3/4 by 5. And then that piece is going to go on top of here. And then we need a white piece that is going to be 4 and, let's see, 3 1/2. 3 1/2 this way by 4 3/4. So right about here. And that's all of our pieces there. And we're going to need to put a sentiment in the middle of this, and I am going to do this one right here off of the Still Scenes. May the timeless message of Christmas fill your heart and home with joy today and always. I love that. Beautiful sentiment. And we are going to put it right in. I'll put it up just a little bit, and I am going to stamp this in black. And I'm going to go in and pull my Momento ink, and let's grab a stamp block. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here in this, maybe I'll do it right here. A little bit up so y'all can see. I'm going to line the stamp up down here just to make sure I'm getting it nice and straight, and then I'm going to ink it up. Now with the Momento ink, you do have to ink a little bit more than you do with the Stampin' Up! Inks, and sometimes if you're dealing with a bigger stamp like this, it doesn't hurt to do that. And now let's get this right about here. Let's get that straight. Beautiful. I love that. So I'm going to rub the stamp off really quick. And we're going to open this card up, and I am going to build my pieces before I put them in. So I'm going to use some Stampin Seal. I love the Stampin Seal Plus. I've just about used this one up, but I've got refills. So, alright, the first thing I'm going to do is put Stampin Seal along here. Just like that. Little piece in the middle. And then I am going to do my little thing, getting it even on each side, top and bottom, and then press it down. And then I'm going to turn this one over and do the same thing. And this one is done because, see, I've reached to my red. So I am going to show you, since I've got this, if anybody buys this and you're wondering how to do it, you basically just open this up just like that. You lift this cartridge out and you throw it away. That is now trash. And our refills come in a plastic bag like this. And so all you have to do is open, pull it out, and drop it in, just like this. Once you get it on top of those little pieces right here, it just pops in just like that. You put this piece back over it and snap it down. Just press it and make sure it's good and adhered, and now your adhesive is ready to go. So takes a little bit when you first get started with it. So now I'm going to even this up right here and down, just like that. And now we're going to put this right here and press it down. And our card is done. And how stinking cute is that? And you also learned how to put your refill in your Stampin Seal. So, there is another beautiful Christmas card ready to be put in the mail to a recipient. I hope that the person that gets this card as well as this one, now these cards are very similar, but as you can see, very different. So y'all have to let me know which one you like. I think I'm tending toward this one, even though I did love the glitter of this. There's something about this one with that red. I think it adds so much. This one I just used the white, and I think it got lost a little bit here. So if I do this colors again, I probably will do black on top of this. Who knows, maybe I'll do a black card with a white background and a black cross section. That might be pretty too. But can you see how much fun it will be to play with that, the Best Plaid Builder die set? Oh, love it, love it, love it. So I turned to this one over and over and over, and I think that you would too if you had it in your stash. So if you're interested in buying any of the products that you saw me use today, my online store is listed in the description below, along with my blog. You can go to my blog and you can actually see the link for the video. The video will be there. All you have to do is click on it. A supply list will be listed underneath the video, along with the hostess code. So if you go shopping in my store and you spend $50 or less, no, $50 or more, use that host code and you will receive a free gift from me after the first of the following month. I always try to mail out the month that next month. So that's an incentive to shop with me at my store. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you would go over and take a look at some of the Stampin' Up! Products. I will tell you this, you will not be disappointed. Everything that I have gotten from Stampin' Up! Has been exceptional quality. Their cardstocks are wonderful, good quality cardstock. Your cards can only be as good as the product you put in them. It's sort of like if you make a meal, you can go and get maybe items from the Dollar Tree and mix up your ingredients. Might not be as good if you go to a high-end grocery store and buy quality ingredients. And I think it's the same way with our card recipes, and that's what I like to call these. This is a card recipe. So, and all of the ingredients are listed below. So, I hope everybody enjoyed this. I love you all very much. I am so enjoying making the Christmas cards this year and sharing them with you. I hope you found some inspiration, and again, I love each and every one of you. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so that you can get notifications, and I hope to see you here again soon. And please, please, please leave a comment. I do not know that you've watched my video if you don't comment. So looking forward to reading your comments, and I will reply back to each and every one. If it's no more than just a heart and a thumbs up, you will know that I read your comment. I love you all very much. Pray blessings in your life and your family for health and safety during this difficult time that we're living in. And as I always say in every closing, let everything you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is so worthy. Love one another, be kind to others, and God bless you. Bye-bye.